Hey, Soul Survivors. I just had a really good topic request on narcissism. So, have you ever wondered why it feels like everyone is suddenly talking about narcissists? Because if you go back to the 1980s, that word rarely left a therapist's office. Nobody in day-to-day life said, my parent is a narcissist or my partner is emotionally abusive. People didn't even have the vocabulary to describe what they were going through. And it's not because narcissists didn't exist back then. They absolutely did, a lot of them. But we didn't have the language, the research, search, or the cultural awareness that we see today. So the shift isn't really that narcissism magically exploded in our society. The shift is that we finally learned how to recognize it. Back in the 80s, emotional abuse wasn't something people openly discussed. If you said you were unhappy in your family or relationship, people told you that's just how they are, or everyone has issues. Don't be so sensitive. That's a narcissistic phrase. The entire culture dismissed psychological harm because nobody knew how to categorize it. There were no viral posts, no online therapists breaking things down, no everyday language for things like gaslighting or trauma bonding, Hoovers, news supply, breadcrumbing. You just quietly endured it. So the research at that time, it was there, but it was limited, slow, and also locked away in academic journals. The average person never saw it. But starting in the late 1990s and also 2000s, psychology became far more accessible. Studies on personality disorders expanded. We learned to recognize patterns that survivors have been trying to explain for decades. And suddenly people realized, oh, that's not normal. This wasn't just a difficult personality. This was abuse. Then the internet amplified everything. For the first time, somebody raised by a narcissistic parent in New York could read the story of someone raised by narcissistic parents, say in California, and their experiences matched almost word for word. People were finally comparing notes, and the patterns were impossible to ignore. Awareness spread because people realized they weren't crazy. They were living through the same dynamics millions of others were enduring. That connection broke the silence that protected narcissists for generations. And here's the part a lot of people get wrong: there's no actual evidence that the rates of narcissistic personality disorder have skyrocketed. So, in any legitimate clinical way, what has changed is our recognition of the symptoms, not the prevalence of the disorder. We aren't seeing more narcissists, we're noticing what was already there. So, honestly, that can make it feel like the world suddenly became darker when really the darkness was just unspoken before. We have to remember that a lot of narcissists don't even get diagnosed. And now, with the mental health movement, more and more people are going to see a psychologist, psychiatrist, or their partner may be suggesting it. So more people are going. And think of it like turning on a light in your room. You always walk through in the dark. The furniture didn't suddenly appear. You just finally see where it is and what you keep tripping over. So when you hear the word narcissist everywhere today, not because people are exaggerating, not because humanity has changed overnight, but because we have the language, the research, the platforms, and the confidence to name what earlier generations had to tolerate in silence. So I'm genuinely curious. Do you think this rise in awareness is helping each other catch abuse sooner? Or do you feel like some folks are using the term too loosely? Your take on it could spark a really important conversation because narcissistic abuse does exist, and we are finally recognizing it, putting words to such as gaslighting, Hoover, and the different patterns that are predictable. Have you noticed a discard pattern with your narcissist? A lot of times people will see ahead of time that the discard is coming. So it's a toxic situation. I'm here to help you through it. Topic requests are always welcome. One-on-ones are available. And I don't know, while there might not be research showing the prevalence has risen, I'd like to know what you think. Do you think narcissism is on the rise? I see a shift.